Alex in the Case I Press. I'm here with UFC Flyweight Miranda Maverick. Miranda, how are you?
I'm doing well, doing well.
Awesome to hear. So it's been 25 days since your fight, and we didn't get to talk to you in the media room, which was a bummer, but here we are. I just kind of want to know how do you feel about that fight?
I felt great. I was glad to be able to come in there and kind of show the skill set that my coaches and I had been working on between every camp. Of course, a skill set improvement, and then this was a really short camp to get ready for, obviously, like 2 weeks notice. So we just did the best we could as far as getting my cardio ready, and then game planned that last week or so that I got to train. And I think we did a really good job with that. I've really been trying to incorporate new stuff with my striking, not just go my typical bully self and try to bull rush, as my coach calls it, and been trying to like work backwards a lot. But this was actually a fight where I got to be the bully a little bit, and I got to use a lot of well-roundedness, got to show my striking, got to show my wrestling, get a lot of takedowns, would let her back up and work some more striking and working out a clinch. And basically we just perfected the entire game plan. And then I just saw an opportunity in the second round and went for it.
Yeah, no, it was an awesome performance, very dominant. How important was that win to you?
Obviously really important. That would have been a losing streak of 3. I've never had a losing streak of 2 before until this last one. And the Macy Barber fight, we can say what we will about that one. I still don't think it was a loss, but there in Blanchfield was a true loss, and I wanted to get my name back in the ring and kind of show that I'm there to stay, and I want to show that I have the well-rounded skill set and grappling too. I said in the post-fight interview, it's kind of amusing to me because in Invicta I was considered only a grappler, and now here I am in the UFC, and people kind of forgot about my entire Invicta background, and now they call me just a striker for those who only watch my UFC fights.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's just crazy how UFC fans get they don't like to go back and research a fighter's background or previous fights. It's kind of strange.
Yeah, but I guess that's every sport. It's one of those unforgiving sports where you lose once, everybody forgets you ever won, and you suck, even though you're in the top 15, 20 in the world, And that's something I want to say about Sabina. Like, she got cut. That's really sad to hear. Liana Jojua did too, who I fought. All these girls, after I fight them, and then when the fans are like, well, they sucked, I'm like, first off, that insults my performance. That's a disrespect to my own performance. Second off, these girls are in the UFC. They don't suck. They're really good. And even other girls that you may see out there that look better than them, it's usually because they're facing lesser skilled individuals. So it makes them look better. And people kind of look at that. That's something that's always bugged me as I fought. And, they'll be hyping the girl up right before I fight them and being like, oh, they're good. You got to watch out for this. Got to watch out for that. And then I beat them. And then they're like, oh, they sucked anyway. And I'm like, weird transition of talking there in 15 minutes.
Yeah, the fan base is something. It's something else. I don't understand it. It's crazy.
So, it does have some crazy, I think it's the extremes of the sport. Some of the fans are the best people you'll ever run into, give me a lot of motivation. It's part of the reason I do it. Love the fan base. And then there's the others that are the crazies and the ones that don't keep up with it at all.
Yeah, exactly. And what's crazy is that I think 99.999% of the fans will all agree that your loss against Macy Barber was not a loss.
Yeah, I would agree that is the percentage for that.
Yeah, that's crazy. I was with your losing streak that you snapped. Was there any pressure going into that fight that maybe the UFC could let you go with a third loss?
So amusingly, Mick Maynard actually let my team know that would not be the case, regardless. I like to credit myself as a business girl, in that case. Like, I'm all for the UFC. I'm there. I'm ready to take any fight they throw at me. And I always have. I haven't been one to shy away from fights when they hand them to me, unless they're my own training partner, which has unfortunately happened a couple times just from confusion of me switching camps recently. But aside from that, like, I take them on short notice. I take them whatever they offer, ever since the first day I said yes to a fight. The first time I ever agreed to one, it was the first card that got canceled by COVID, the Woodley main event card. And then, the next one that I had, my eyes ended up getting messed up, but I was ready to go in there, And then, the October one, I actually had a full camp for. The Macy one, I had a full camp for. But then, like, even the Jillian one, I don't think was a full camp. And then Erin Blanchfield was short notice, and now Sabina Mazo was short notice 2 in a row. So I try to be a company girl, and try to get to where let's say there was 3 fights in a row that I lost, I think I'm still one of the higher up girls as far as rankings, and I fight the top girls, and I fight them on short notice if I have to. And they did assure me that wouldn't be the case, but at the same time, like, Sabina's a girl I've been watching for years. When she had the LFA title, I wanted to fight her, and she actually got pulled to the UFC the same week that we were trying to get to fight her. So that didn't work out, but I've been watching her for a long time, and I didn't have any lack of confidence going into this. I always look at fights as, how can they win? You know, how many avenues do they have to win this fight, and how many avenues do I have to win this fight? And in this one, I saw it about 1 to 10. You know, I saw it as her being able to maybe throw a head kick, and I better keep my hand up, you know? And other than that, I didn't see a way she was going to beat me, and I wasn't going to let that happen.
Yeah, pretty good analysis right there. How awesome was it having your teammate JJ win on the same night as you?
You know, JJ and Drew Dober both fought the same night, and my coach actually cornered Drew as well. So it was pretty intense. I went back to the hotel room with one of my coaches, and of course Pete, and we were back there. I was eating Ben and Jerry's ice cream. It's kind of my ritual when I win fights. And we turned on the TV real quick, set up my computer and connected it, and got there just in time to see Drew Dober's fight, and that was a roller coaster, right? That was terrible to watch, knowing him, and anybody that I even know or train with, it's so hard to watch their fights, especially when it's like like, that was crazy. And then JJ's, I didn't get to watch it live. I had to watch it afterwards that night. But good performance. And of course, she fought an opponent that I had fought before, Jillian Robertson, and I've trained with Jillian a few times. So that's one where I like both of them. You know, it's always hard to watch the girls when you know both of them. But at the same time, I'm really happy JJ got that win, and she's moving on up, you know.
Sure. So you called for Molly McCann as a next possible fight, and I think that is a fantastic fight. Have you got any response from that at all?
No response from her, unfortunately. But, you know, I'm hoping enough eyes see that. I'm hoping Mick sees that. I'm hoping it gets online and gets done. I think they're having another London card in July, and that's a little later than I wanted. But, hey, I'm down. Let's do it. She wants it in her hometown to make her a little happier. And she wants to lose in her own town. That's fine with me, too.
Yeah, and I was going to say, would you be down to fight her in Europe?
Absolutely. Be down to fight.
Awesome. I wanted to ask, where is somewhere that you, I guess, just random place that like, where's somewhere you want to fight? Because you've only fought in Kansas, Vegas, Fight Island, and one time in Maryland, I believe. So where's
Maryland, Denver when I was NAMI. Really, I like the United States just because I get to stay close. You know, I wouldn't mind one in Texas, one in Florida. One of the places where it's really opened up. I've only had one fight with a crowd so far in the UFC, and that's kind of where I'm at with it. I just want a crowd. I want a big audience to where I can go in there and feel that full UFC experience. I still feel like I've kind of not gotten to. And the one fight that did have a crowd was there in Blanchfield one. And I feel like, you know, all that glory and remembering that part is just hard to do.
Would you be down for a Virginia card?
Yeah, I'd be down for that. I think everybody would show up, hopefully. So that would be kind of, you know, the thing about Kansas City was that was where I lived and grew up. So I had a big crowd there. And I still do when I go back there to commentate for smaller events and things like that. And then here in Denver, you know, they've got the Budweiser Arena. I know that they've had fights there before. That would be a good option as well.
Yeah, so many options. Keisha Torres and Raquel Pennington fight this weekend. I just wanted your thoughts on their fights.
I'm really excited. Raquel took her short notice, you know, against Aspen Ladd. I've trained with Aspen before. You know, I'm not going to give any secrets away about either one of them, but I'm really excited for Raquel. She was one of my main training partners coming into the last camp and several since I've moved here. Great training partner, great friend. And then Tisha, you know, I trained with her when I was younger too. She'd bring me out to help with the grappling and wrestling portion, and she's been working really hard for this camp leading up to the Mackenzie Dern fight. I'm actually super excited to watch that one, probably more excited to watch that one than the Raquel one, just because a lot hangs on the balance, I feel like, of this Mackenzie Dern Tisha Torres fight, and I'm excited to see it. You know, Mackenzie Dern with her grappling game, and then Tisha, just like her nickname says, you know, just running in there, throw in like a tornado, and she never stops. I'll say even me being quite a bit bigger than her when we're sparring, I'm like, can you quit hitting me for 2 seconds? I'm just like, stay away from me. It's crazy. Crazy. Her insane.
That is, but yeah, that's hilarious. Yeah, those two fights are really big. They're massive fights this weekend. Especially for the division and how everything. So also, so Juliana Pena made some headlines by saying that Ronda Rousey is a joke in the MMA world. What were your thoughts on that?
I definitely disagree. I can see where she's coming from in terms of, I've definitely heard some martial artists say like, she lost, and it's usually fans though. It's usually fans that say that, just like we said, like they discredit everything that they did working up to that point. And as soon as they lose a fight or somebody catches them where they aren't game, they suck, and I personally think she's very smart, went to the WWE, is making way more money now, not getting punched in the face, not getting hurt for a living, like I would love to do that. And everybody who discredits her for everything she did in the women's sport, for a woman to say that is disrespectful. Like, we can say all we want about her as a person, or that she lost, or her skill, but you can't discredit what she did for the sport. And she was truly a pioneer for women's MMA. And I'll always say that, although I will always be a fan from the business perspective and an athlete perspective of the UFC.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I mean, she's a Hall of Famer. She is, you could say she is the reason why women are fighting in the UFC today, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
And
but I don't think that it was said out of a malice point of view. I think it was said out of an entertainment point of view to maybe get some things stirring. And, maybe Ronda Rousey comes back, she gets her money fight. I think that's literally the purpose of what that was. And if anybody can't see that, like, I think they're blind. This is all, it's an entertainment industry. That's exactly what it is. This isn't real life. We're killing each other out in the streets. Like, that's why you see all these crazy personalities. You see the Colby Covingtons, you see the Jorge Masvidals. Like, you can say, well, they bring it into real life. And it's like, if you ever meet these people in person, they're usually not anything like you see them on TV.
Yeah, no, totally 100%. I agree with you tenfold. Talia Santos for Valentina Shevchenko just got announced. What are your thoughts on that matchup?
Well, they got to find somebody to keep fighting. Just keep next one down the line. You could be number 9 ranked now, and they'll just be like, the top 8 already fought her. You're number 9. Let's go. So I would guess that it's going to be Talia. If Talia loses to her, then Andrea will be up there at some point. Who's another one that's a big name? Oh, they're trying to get I always mess up her name. Manon Farrow.
Farrow, yep.
Yeah. Okay. All right. They're always trying to push her. So I think those are kind of the next 3 big names that are going to kind of be thrown up against Valentina. I think Valentina is dominant enough that she'll keep winning for a little while, but eventually she'll meet her end. Eventually she'll lose focus or get old enough that it's slower. I think it's kind of like the Nunes thing. I think she's definitely gained more momentum again, but I think it was almost, she was ready to be done for a little while, ready to be done with the pressure. You don't see somebody kind of that happy, I guess, after a loss. Like, I think she was just happy to be like, all right, I did what I wanted to do. Like, give me a break, Yeah,
no, for sure. Do you think Talia Santos has a chance against Valentina?
Anybody has a chance. I don't want to the Valentina. I think Talia has as good of a chance as any that's gone in there against her. She's got really good dominant grappling. She's got heavy pressure. And I think if anything, grappling is what's going to defeat Valentina in the end of the day.
Yeah, 100%. But yeah, I mean, and so there's this rumbling that, a former opponent of yours, Aaron Blanchfield, might be the one to come up. How do you think, from like a marketing perspective in the UFC, do you think they should push Aaron like quickly up, or do you think they should do the slow roll?
I definitely think they should do the slow roll. I regret even my decisions at times, like how fast I got pushed up. Second fight I'm ranked, and that's kind of her position too. No doubt Aaron's really good. I'm not going to take any credit away from her. She beat me. Whether I think I had an off night or not, she has a fantastic grappling. And this isn't me trying to be mean to her if she's out there listening, but she's not the best marketing person, on her social media and stuff. And unfortunately, that's what the UFC looks at too. It's like I said, it's entertainment. Like, you've got to have every point to the star, to be up there. And I think that she definitely has a skill set that can be top ranked, but I think her striking needs to evolve with it before she gets caught, and then if somebody else is able to stay up and wrestle with her and not be on bottom when she gets a takedown, somebody's gonna run into her. I got used as a stepping stone for her, and I wish it wouldn't have been that way, but at the same time, her performance was good, no doubt, but I don't think it was as well rounded as it's going to take to get to the top right now.
Interesting. And finally, hit on a bunch of topics, but there was this dialogue out there that the flyweight division is just a stomping ground for Valentina. But in the last year and a half, there's been some really, really, really talented girls coming up there. You got Casey O'Neill, you got Melissa Gatto, you got yourself, you got Erin Blanchfield, you got Tracy Cortez, who's out there. I just wanted your thoughts on Melissa Gatto, Casey O'Neill, and Tracy Cortez.
To be honest with you, I'm not that familiar with Melissa Gatto.
Okay.
Tracy Cortez, that's a fight that I'd want soon in the future. I just want to have the Molly McCann, maybe the Joanne Calderwood one first. The Tracy Cortez one would be a good fight eventually. And then who was the other one you mentioned? I'm sorry. Casey O'Neill, right? Yes. Definitely think she's another future one. I think her and Manon Farrow are two of the up-and-comers that I see kind of shaking up the division. Erin might be thrown in there too as the three top girls who are going to shake up the division. The funny thing is, I've always been big about the age thing and when are these girls going to retire? And some are going to last a while. We see Manon Farrow. I think she's a little older, but she looks like she's just starting the highlight of her career, so it's kind of unfair to say that at sometimes. But then there's the girls that have been in the UFC for many, many years, and they're just not going anywhere. They're kind of stagnant in the division. And that's why, I said if Molly McCann doesn't take the fight, then Joanne Calderwood would be the next option for me. And I guess it's Joanne Wood now, sorry. But it's just because she's kind of stuck up there in the top 10, top 15, just because she's fighting these top girls, not because she can hang with them. She's on a losing streak. And I looked up to her when I was a kid watching her on Tough, but I think it's time for some of the younger division to come up and show what they're made of. That's been one of my irritations in the past as I've come up the rank, as I've been fighting all these younger girls. And I thought I was the younger one, and here I am. I fought Liana. She was a year older than me. I fought Jillian Robertson. She's just a couple of years older than me. I fought Macy Barber. She's younger than me, which is crazy. Erin Blanchfield, younger than me. Sabina Mazo, same age. Why are you having these younger girls face the other up and comers? You're kind of thinning the field before we even get to the top. And it doesn't really make much sense to me. For all we know, one of those girls that have been knocked out could have been one of the top 10 in the world in a year.
No, 1000%. And actually, you told me that during media day for your Macy Barber fight, and you're like, why are these two young girls fighting? Why are we fighting each other? So, obviously, is it something like a Roxanne Modafferi versus Casey? That should be what the UFC is kind of should be doing right now.
I think so. Obviously that's an extreme version because Roxanne was retiring, but I think that's what they should be going for. Cynthia Calvillo against somebody younger, who's another one? Sajara Eubanks against somebody younger. She's not even in the rankings, but that's what they need to be doing a little bit, testing these girls against more experienced veterans instead of just trying to line them up because they are both young, or they both have similar styles. It is a matchmaking game, and I'm not saying they did a bad job. I think my fights were exciting that I've had, and they were good matchups that fans wanted to see, but it's one of those things where why not let them see it down the road in a year when we're both ranked number 4 and 5, not number, in the Macy Barber case, 14 and 15. And then what happened after the fight? We both stayed the exact same. So it didn't matter. She beat me and we're both in the exact same position we were. I don't.
Yeah, 100%. It's the UFC cannibalizing the flyweight division, and it's kind of strange. All right, finally, before I let you go, what's a perfect return date? Are you trying to get that Molly McCann in London, June, July?
Yeah, that's it. I think there's a London card they're trying to set up in July. Maybe it already is. That'd be perfect. But I'm looking to start being back. If that doesn't become an option in June, mid-June or so, is when I would look to take a fight And if it's in the July London card, that would be absolutely perfect.
Awesome. Amanda, thank you so much for your time. I love chatting with you. If you want to plug your social media, plug any sponsors you got, you want to thank anybody, the floor is yours.
All right. Thank you. Thank you to God, as always. I credit him for everywhere I've gotten. Thank you to my family who supported me, my new team here in Denver, Team Elevation. I'm training out of Easton and Pound for Pound right now. So all of the gyms who have helped me, all the training partners and my coaches. And shout out to all my sponsors. You guys can go check them out at my website, which is fearthemaverick.net. I have new merchandise that's out. I'll actually have professional pictures made in the next couple of weeks, but you'll also see the pre-order options on there, hoodies, shirts, even leggings that just came out. And I'm also starting my own boxing glove line. So check those out too.